plate on the top.
More rounded. That's more square.
Right, right.
This
yeah,
is what it looked
that's a lot more
the
squared
painted
off.
one also looked like this.
Yeah.
But this could have been what was available aftermarket. If they say $50, they
Back then, there was probably only 2 or 3 choices on chrome step bumpers, and obviously they got put on everything from. I've got bumpers like this that come off Dodges. You know, we just had a couple of different choices back then.
Well, that's all it was. You just bought different brackets.
Whatever. Yeah.
You bought a bracket, getting a bumper.
Yeah.
Yep. Taillights, I looked all that over pretty closely. They're yellowed like they should be. They look to be pretty much proper.
Screws and
right
everything.
screws. Yeah, I got ahead of you on looking at that stuff.
Does have dual exhaust too, by the way.
Yeah, true duals.
Fresh.
Yep, true duals.
True duals.
And he said the tank, you know, they probably could have put fresh fuel, but it was so bad, it needed a sending unit, which it still has an issue with the sending unit because the gauge is buried out, so we got to address that.
He probably didn't hook it up. I can't tell. It might have just not hooked it up.
Rust under it. Nothing.
No rust.
It's spick and span, spider webs over top of dust. I looked around all the drip edge rail. I looked around the rear window.
Got the original gray plugs with no kind of overspray or any evidence they've ever been tampered with. We can still read all our writing here.
Yeah.
That's not.
So we had somebody today ask, looking in Canada, and when you take something across a border, it's a big deal. I mean, Canada's probably our most common, maybe Mexico. But sometimes they're going to ask to check all this stuff. I don't think there's hardly another one in here because most all these trucks have been repainted that has this, the dash, and the glove box without even going to the frame. I know there's a couple on the frame, right?
Yeah, it is one right down there.
So that's crucially important in some cases to match the title, because the title on pretty much all these other trucks, I mean, it matches the dash, which is the most important one. But if it's been painted, that's gone. The glove box fell off years ago, and that fell out probably, so that's gone.
Oh yeah, you can take rivets off that plate. And,
you can, but you know, you can also see the ones that are original. Oh, I'm gonna grab something else while he's.
They got them special hex-shaped rivets.
Yep.
Even here's one thing that we've never even talked about it, but you never see these original. These are like the tiniest vacuum hoses ever, but you never see all that still hooked up. And there's a plastic thing right here that clips over the arm that holds that tube, and then it goes up here to a little squirter right here at the end.
So I ask you, because I don't know. So this has the antenna in the windshield.
Right.
When did that end and the one on the right-hand fender
RV,
begin?
The square front RV series.
So 89.
89.
Yeah, okay. So some people say it's radio, you can barely see it in this truck. I almost agree with one guy till I walked over here that it didn't have that in the windshield, but it does. The antenna's there, and it's the factory radio.
Yep.
And the factory books.
And there's some areas up here that you can look at that are telltale signs of being painted. You know, there's no evidence of this gasket ever being out, any kind of overspray. So as far as anybody that may or may not question the
So all the GM info,
authenticity of the paint.
I covered up the customer's name, but this was a South Carolina truck per what the man told me. That's where he went and got it out of the building. The bill of sale news shows South Carolina. $14,250, brand new. Obviously the VIN numbers match. It had 25 miles, and we actually looked on, that's the mileage we saw on the Carfax. Yep. We matched the miles here to the Carfax, which both of those, Carfax and AutoCheck, don't go back but so far. But about 97 is when they started, and the mileage from there to now, all checked proper. So looks like he put down a deposit, put down some cash. Actually, he financed. Whew. Financed $9,700. His finance charge was $2,200. 10.15 on a new vehicle.
Another silver medallion delivery package.
That's just like yours.
Yeah. Mine doesn't have the.
But it's 87 also, though.
Right.
So
yeah.
Same year truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was bought March of '87, and it'll tell us what the production date is. January of '87. So was probably ordered and then sold. I doubt it was a dealer stock truck, but everything here matches, color matches, VIN number matches, all locations. I checked the VIN on all locations except for the glove box. We'll double check that because I did not open that to verify. But all of its manuals there, a receipt. The only receipt in there was for a tire, which probably dry rotted and they replaced it, I guess. But dash is original, proper,
No
pad,
cracks.
no cracks.
All the gauges look good.
And he checked the miles, so we've talked about that in the past. If you monkey with the miles or the miles roll over, meaning it goes to 100,000, it goes back to zero. People don't know from the other eras that happened, but it does because there's not another digit. They get out of line, and you can tell.
You can look at those. All the numbers are perfectly lined up, so that tells you that it's not rolled over. I mean, obviously, everybody can manipulate anything they want, but I think all this speaks enough for itself. I mean, look at the wire loom, the corrugated wire loom. I mean, it's all there, all the original. This is the timing spout connector, they call that. This is how they taped it on there. So when you set the timing, you have to disconnect this to put it in bypass mode when you set the timing. And you never see that still taped on there. So all the loom is still in great shape. All these original zip ties are still on there. All the factory wraps of tape around the ends.
It's got the wafer washer and the
Yep. Got the
chalk mark.
The grounding star washers on both sides, like it's supposed to. Looks like just your typical service work. New AC compressor, which is I think I have the only one that's not been replaced yet.
So when they retrofitted it, the upsell was a compressor.
They had lots of upsells in the beginning.
Because people didn't know what
change
would
the
work.
oil, change the compressor, do this, do
New
that.
O-rings. I mean, I remember going to class on that.
Yeah.
They said you got to do the compressor, you got to do the
And then
O-rings.
somebody like me said, let's just try this. Oh, look, it works fine, and not have to do all that.
So they put a little adapter to go from the R12 to the 134.
Which that needed to happen anyway. I mean, nobody's going to, nobody wants to run around with R12 that, you go to service it and you got to find somebody with it and pay $50 a pound, and you needed to retrofit it either way.
And obviously the battery's been changed, but it's actually an AC
Still
Telco,
OE.
so they kept it as original
OE
as possible.
battery cables. I mean, it doesn't have a pre-filter,
No,
but it does have the original.
I knew you were going to pick on a couple things. I thought you would probably drive that truck so you could put them together. And if you go back and watch the video we're referring to, it's Kenny's Blue, which is for sale, the two-wheel drive. Also grandpa truck, camper shell, carpet in the back that Christian wants for his bedroom still. But he actually buffed and polished this area right here, so it's slick and black as the paint on this truck. And a more base model would not have had felt.
You didn't have that with the custom deluxe. Gold, the nuts for the master cylinder still gold anodized, and no evidence that anything.
So power windows, power locks,
cruise and
tilt is really all that this truck does not have.
For the most part. I mean,
it's got the newer, it's got the better front end.
The exterior, the only thing it'd be missing would be the tailgate band to make it a Silverado.
That's right.
And then on the inside, the cloth seat, the carpet, the door panels, door carpet.
Actually, this one,
and
I don't
the
think any
aluminum.
of them have the tailgate panel on them either.
And the aluminum, trim that goes over the bezel and across the dash.
This one does. So that would be a Silverado
Yeah.
back end.
That's kind of the standard I'm a Silverado
Right.
package.
Still got the valance on the front, the two hooks.
Yep. Don't see many of them left either. Yeah, I'll. If I had some stickers, I'd sign off on it and stick my sticker on there.
Yeah. Doctor approved with a little check mark. He's pretty official. Again, we tell all the time, we don't know it all, we haven't seen it all, but like that commercial, we kind of almost have for, what's the insurance company, Christian? Farmers. Yeah.
Oh.
Know a thing or two about a thing or two.
Yeah.
But these trucks we have touched, cut off, chopped off, gutted so many things that when you look back, you're like, oh, you can really appreciate it. I noticed that the return hose on the power steering has been changed because the clamps aren't right. I mean, some things you can't help. You know, it might have leaked and you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not leaking currently. I was just under it.
Can't just say, well, I'm not going to change it, you know, because I don't want to change it and it's sitting there leaking or whatever. But I mean, stuff like this right here, this is 100% factory. Some people be like, why is it just hanging out there? Yeah. Because that's how they did it when they built it.
It's in a clamp.
They put this little thing right there that goes around. But, you know, that's all this weird little loop with this fusible link wire right here. That's exactly how it came from the factory.
This here would have been an early oil change sticker.
Like a service station used to use back in the day.
They wrote on it.
Thank God they didn't stick it in the door jamb like most of the time.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. So it either went on the door jamb, it went in your window. You could scrape it off the window. You can't get it out of the door jamb. They put it on the door or the jamb.
They just put one on there and, okay, I'm here because and they just stick another one. Next thing you know, you open the door and there's 30 of them in a line.
All through here, all through here.
Wherever.
I mean, you want to see it because at least you know they changed the oil, but it makes a hella mess when it's
These days we just take a tire chalk and just write, you know, how many quarts it holds and.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's pretty valid. I told you it was, but again, extra eyes see other things. Extra light shows you other things. But it's hard to pull one past the doctor there. And I got to thank him for coming up in the dark. He's going to be scared to death to drive home. We might have to escort or Uber him back or something.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you said I was getting an escort.
Yeah, we'll put his car inside. He probably wants it in the heated area.
One of these fancy rollbacks with some flashing lights. That way people would stay back.
Yeah. But that's a special one. So if nothing else, guys, follow this one or follow the Survivor over there if you're looking at a 3/4 ton. Just if you're restoring, we have people all the time, can you text me pictures and all that? We're going to photograph this one very well also. We'll have it in a file. I've already sent a photo. I know twice I've sent photos of that truck over there for people that are trying to restore and loving to go back factory but have nothing to go off of because I don't know where you find anything to go off of. So we photographed that one as tightly as we could, as closely as we could. We'll do the same thing to this one because 10 years from now, you know, if I'm not around, Kenny's not around, there's not going to be any more of purists that have messed with these things like they have. Him more than me, obviously, because, you know, he had the service shop and he worked on them and he took them apart and he messed with them and, you know, he knew what you could get and you can't get. And some of that stuff you can't fake. Like you can't get it, you can't replace it, you can't find it. And if you can, it's not the same. Aftermarket is not the same as factory. So pretty impressive truck, I have to say. What do you think?
Yeah, that's legit.
So now between his blue 2-wheel drive R10, this short bed V10, that 83 2500, both 4-speeds too. We didn't even talk about that. How often did you see a 4-speed in a single cab short bed truck?
Not very often.
It was mainly, you know, work truck, 3/4 ton. And how often did you see it and they didn't abuse it?
I mean,
you know?
Guy could have been a truck driver.
Yeah, love to stick.
People like that, they don't care what it is. It's going to be a stick shift.
Also, might have been a $500 savings.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's plenty of people that was $500 is probably like $5,000 today.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh wait, hold on, how much cheaper? Good story. The Squarebody car. We're sitting right here at the corner at Heritage Chevrolet. About 40 years ago, I was 13 years old, and we're sitting down there with the salesman because this was going to be mine one day. So I'm involved in this whole sale.
Kenny's 53 if you can't do the math.
And I got her all talked into a 2-door. Yeah, okay, yeah, 2-door. And then the salesman mentions that a 4-door was $50 cheaper. There goes that.
Yeah.
So back then, all you had to do is mention something being cheaper, and then all of a sudden you went from, that's what I want to, whoa, I'd be okay with that then.
Well, same thing. The Silverado package was maybe $1,000.
That might have been a $1,000 package.
And, you know, if you didn't like power windows that everybody knew would break, like people didn't want technology.
Yeah.
People did not want
a lot of people
cruise control.
specifically didn't want it.
Cruise control's going to stick and it's going to kill me. What if I can't turn it off? You know, people were scared to death. They didn't want windows they couldn't roll down. What if I go in the water and it shorts out? I can't get out of the car if I'm upside down in the water.
I know window motor's going to go bad, and I got to pay to get it fixed, and it's expensive. And a lot of people just, I don't want none of that. I want it basic.
Today they get too much stuff, and one day that stuff's not going to work, and there's a computer that controls it, At least on these, you can still work on it. But I do know a lot of people opted for the base they like the looks. So he got the looks on this truck, but he got the basic package as far as manual windows, manual locks, no cruise control. And chances are that's what he wanted. I'm sure it was ordered because it was produced and delivered that quickly and sold. So it was produced in January, sold in March. But transportation back then was stupid slow, still stupid slow. We wait forever for for vehicles. So, but I thought it was a pretty good one, guys. I know it's got a little long-winded, but we've been tucking it away just to have that final seal of approval. And currently, other than one that we know of that's for sale, getting ready to go over $100,000 with less miles, it's about the only one that's Survivor like this that I know of. So, cool truck. Thanks, Kenny, for coming, as always.
Sure.
I don't know that I'm going to have another exciting one to bring you all like this very soon and shortly like this one was, but if it comes, it comes. We'll let you know. Thanks, guys. If I don't talk to you, have a safe and happy holiday. New Year's. Thanks for all the support.